All right, welcome to the MMA Fight Game Podcast. I am very excited to be talking to this fast rising, up and coming prospect, bantamweight prospect in the Northeast, specifically in Massachusetts. Jake the Gorilla Pilla is fighting on Combat FC 5 in the headlining spot on September 15th, 2023, live and free on UFC Fight Pass if you can't get tickets through him. Initially, this fight was for the interim bantamweight Combat FC title. However, certain things had changed. The former champion is now a UFC athlete after winning a bout on the Contender Series, winning a contract with the Contender Series. Jake is a very fast rising prospect. He has a huge buzz on the streets. He's actually fighting his toughest guy to date that he's ever fought on this upcoming card. He also, his longest fight in the cage in his pro career was 2 minutes and 39 seconds. Jake, thanks for joining us. What took so long in that fight?
What's up, my man? How are you? I'm happy to be here.
Good. I appreciate you coming on.
Of course. You know, I love this stuff. Happy to get some words in and, have some fun on here.
Yeah, I've been talking, obviously, Combat FC is owned by the GOAT, Joe Cavallero, and matchmaker extraordinaire, Rick Caldwell. Those guys have said nothing but positive things about you. They are very high on your prospects as well. You fought on Combat FC 4, which I was able to be there live, which was an amazing show. You went out and you absolutely blistered your opponent. And now you're fighting for the vacant bantamweight championship on September 15th against John Duma, who is no slouch. How did that fight come about, and what are your expectations for that night?
So, I love the boys at Combat FC. They take care of me. They're awesome. I've been around the fight game quite a bit. I've done a lot of traveling, a lot of coaching. I've seen a lot of back rooms. I've seen a lot of business be done in the fight world. And I'll tell you, man, like as a fighter, I love fighting for them. I love working for them, like a lot of really good communication. They're straight to the point. They're straight shooters. Like I don't have to worry about anything. Whatever they tell me, I got nothing but faith in. And like as a fighter, that's, like that doesn't always happen. And so, I trust what they're doing and how they're doing it and the growth that they have. And I love fighting for them. The only way I wouldn't fight for them is when the bigger call comes and I'm just kind of working for that. And even then, when that bigger call comes, I'll be putting all my guys through Combat FC. So, I definitely love that. This fight, Rick, he reached out, he threw a couple names my way, offered a chance at the time into an interim belt, and Duma accepted the fight, and we took the fight. We stepped forward and we said, hey, listen, it's about time I take a couple bigger names, and we just kind of work up the ladder. And so I'm here. I'm ready. I've done this a long time, man. I've had plenty of fights. I've had a couple wars as an amateur. My pro career has been kind of quick, but I've been here for a long time, dude. I've been training since I was little. This is all I do. So just because he's a bigger name doesn't mean that my goal changes. What I'm going to do changes. I stick the course.
Yeah, absolutely. What's your background? Did you wrestle in high school?
I did not. So I started Kung Fu at the age of 4. Okay. I did that from the time I was 4 till I was 18. I started coaching around like 9. I was like an assistant coach. And then when I was 13, I met my jiu-jitsu coach. And so me and him clicked instantly. He like invited me over. I was working with him one-on-one, like at his garage. And like, I was a kid at the time and he really took care of me. And it just kind of sprouted from there. Within a year, I was working under him and John Howard, who fought in the UFC and the PFL and has fought all over the world. And so both of those coaches have been with me since I was like 13, 14 years old. And so it was something I had already done martial arts. They kind of showed me, in my mind, what was the next step in martial arts, something more practical and, that it was real life combative situations rather than the Kung Fu where I'm doing forms and katas and all that. And I just fell in love with it,
Yeah, so you're kind of like that new hybrid athlete where you didn't have any wrestling. You just kind of went into a gym, got hooked up with some people, and had been grinding. So you took your first fight almost 10 years ago when you were 18, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And then obviously, this is what you mentioned for the interim belt. Obviously, Pompos Gregorio fought a couple weeks ago, who was the Combat FC bantamweight champion. He got the call. He went out. He blistered his opponent with
It
a
looks awesome.
successful win. Yeah, he looked amazing. Such a great guy too. I can't say enough about Pompos. He's a good friend of ours.
I like the way he carries himself. You know, that's the way a champion should carry himself. So I'm happy to, you know, step in that spot.
Step in that spot with a win. Do you expect the same type of call? Obviously, you know, everybody knows Joe Cavallero's relationship with Dana White at the UFC. Do you expect a similar call, or do you expect maybe to defend that title one more time and then go to the Contender Series, or maybe even a short notice fight?
I'm gonna be honest, man. I don't really know if I have any expectations, or more so just, you know, what is the next step in the path. And so I take this fight, we get through this fight, and then immediately, you know, next week we're gonna be in the gym just working. You know, the goal right now is to take the right fights at the right time and just grow. You know, I've been lucky enough. There's tons of stuff going on. I've been lucky enough where like I'm linked up with all the right coaches. I got an airplane. I don't know, it's crazy. No, but with all the right coaches, with all the right people around me, and so I've seen such a growth just in my training and just in like the knowledge that I have and kind of where my career is going over the last couple of years. That right now the goal is to improve, and whatever comes down the pipeline, I'll take. You know, I would love that big shot. I would love to maybe defend it once and then not have to do the Contender Series, and you know, take it, defend it, and then maybe got that last minute shot or something like that. That would be ideal rather than having to go through the whole Contender Series just to get that call. But I'll take whatever comes my way, man. I'm ready for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And on September 15th, which is a massive, massive fight weekend, you know, you're headlining Combat FC 5, a former Combat FC or still current John Piersma is headlining LFA. Also, you know, you have Noche UFC out in Las Vegas, you know, headlined by Valentina Shevchenko and Alexa Grasso too. Busy weekend, Mexican Independence Day. In your bout specifically, what are you looking to showcase without getting into like any like specific game plan detail? Is there anything that you're kind of looking to showcase there?
At this point, man, I like to just take the fight where it goes. You know, anytime I'm out there, I feel like in any position that you're going to find me in, I'm going to be showcasing something at a high level. I believe my striking is a lot more high level than people realize or give me credit for, which is fair because most people haven't seen my striking. You know, as far as everyone's concerned, I have okay wrestling and my jiu-jitsu is, you know, pretty good. And I'm not at a point where I feel like I need to prove anything, which is nice. So I just want to go in there, stick to the game plan, implement, you know, my game and my will, and just put on a bit of a performance, man. I want to let everybody know that this is where I belong and that, you know, I'm here to stay, that I'm not just, you know, taking out some guys quick and can't hang. This is all I do, you know? So I just want to go out there and let them, I just kind of want to remind everybody that I've been here and this is kind of where I'm supposed to be, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, some of these fans, some of the casual fans, you know, they want to see the dynamic strikeout, you know, knockouts and things like that. But really, like Aljamain Sterling was victim of that last weekend where, you know, he was trying to be more flash, where he should have just done what the opponent gave him, like what you just said. And it is what it is because it's no one's career but your own. Is that kind of the mindset where you want to just do it because it's for you and it's your career?
That's exactly it, man. Like it serves me no purpose to go out there and try to prove something or show something that I'm not or try to be something else. You know, like I'm not looking to reinvent the wheel, you know? And so to me, if I go out there and I am trying to, you know, make some sort of statement and I'm so focused on everything but the fight, that's when mistakes happen. That's when I'm going to be in bad positions. That's, you know, that's when I'm fighting for reasons that I, you know, like I don't think I could fight for. So for me, I'm going to go out there. I'm going to stick to the game plan. Yeah. If we wrestle for 5 rounds, we wrestle for 5 rounds. If we straight box for 5 rounds, we box for 5 rounds. Wherever that fight goes, I'm going to just implement my style and my will, and I'm going to press forward, and we're going to, you know, we're going to bring it to each other, man. He's tough. He's a gamer, and I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited because, you know, obviously, you know, you don't make it to Bellator by being some slouch. I mean, that's like the next level up. And,
Yep.
you know, this is definitely the toughest date. So on top of being one of the hottest rising prospects in the Northeast, you're also a head coach. You had mentioned offline that you have a couple of fighters. I think, did you say before or after you, and then 2 weeks
Both.
after you?
Yeah, both. Yeah, I have one. I have a girl fighting next week. I have Amanda Ferreira.
Okay.
She'll be kicking ass next weekend. And then I got a couple guys. I have Ryan Wackrow fighting. I have Jake fighting. I'm trying to think. I have 3 or 4 guys fighting. We're waiting on a couple names right now, so I don't want to blow up spots before we kind of sign anything. But we probably have 2 September 23rd for Cage Titans, and then we have 1 next weekend at NEF. So
Okay.
we're busy.
Can't break any news for me right now in the Northeast MMA scene at all?
Yeah, I mean they're all new Ammies, man. They're all making that first step in, so it's not groundbreaking news yet. It will be.
Yeah.
Give us some time.
Yeah, actually, I told you offline. We're trying to get one of our Amis from up here in New York, Mason Lewis, on specifically on your card to kind of get his feet wet in that kind of scene, because I truly believe like he's up and coming. And you were gracious enough to say, hey, I have this huge gym with 9 coaches. He's more than welcome to come in and get work. How do you balance all that?
Honestly, man, I have a great coaching staff. Like I don't believe I'm the best at anything. And I don't really think I ever want to get to that point. And so I brought in a boxing coach because he's a better boxer than me, and I brought in a jiu-jitsu coach because he's better at jiu-jitsu than me. And every coach that I've tried to bring in, I do believe knows more than I do and has more knowledge. And I don't want to say is a better coach, but they have more experience. And so I trust them, and they trust me. And so I put it all together really well, and I've been in some really high level situations, and between all of us, we're a family, man. We trust each other. Like there's no situation that I don't talk to them and they don't talk to me. And so it would be hard if I felt like it was all on my shoulders and I felt like it was only me. And I was really, like I'm head coach because I facilitate it, but we all coach together. Like there is no one coach that's above anybody or below anybody. And I'll be honest, man, the way I run my school is very simple. Like my guys have a say in everything we do. If we're bringing somebody in, if we're doing something, the whole team has a say in it. And to me, that's the only way it's going to work. I mean, my gym is prospering right now. I have the best team out there, and the guys are hungry, and we're having fun. We just trained for 2-3 hours. We're now going to go back to the gym in 2 hours and train again. Like we're loving it. And so to see that and to facilitate that, man, like, I don't know. It's not that hard. I think having everybody as one big team, I think it makes it easier.
And if people wanted to get hooked up with you that are kind of in your area in Twerksburg, right? Is that what you said?
Tewksbury.
Tewksbury. I'm sorry.
We'll make it easy.
Over in Gorilla Fitness, how do they get in contact with you?
So they're welcome to either go through my social media, my Instagram, which is Jake the Gorilla, or they could jump on the gym Instagram page, which is Gorilla Crew Fitness. We give out 2 free weeks, man. You want to come down, try some classes, have fun, swing in, you're more than welcome. And then if you're already training, I tell everybody, man, I am a big believer in cross training. So we don't do day fees. I don't believe in any of that stuff. You want to come down and get a round in, just send me a message. We'll figure out a time. We'll have some fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I know you have that massive fight on September 15th. Is there any like plugs or sponsors that you want to thank? Because obviously, you're up and coming, and it takes a lot to, it takes a village to get you where you need to go. Is there anyone that you want to thank and give shout outs to specifically?
Yeah, so I'm gonna drop a ton of sponsor stuff this week. So I got some big ones coming. For this, man, I'm really just kind of plug my coaches. I'm gonna plug FAF Gym, Coach Sean Graham. One of the best out there. He has been giving me so much work. I haven't felt so incredible. CPK, my performance guy, oh, what a blessing, man. I'm getting cupped down a couple times a week. Like I'm feeling good. Honestly, all my coaches at the gym, Brian Caldwell, John Howard, Nate Lamont, I have Coach Roberto, I have Larry Coots, I got Coach Ferriani, Jake Ferry with all the wrestling. I really, I'd like to take this time to really thank them, because this camp has been, obviously the most serious one I've taken. And, I'm up, being a better version of me than I've ever been. And it's all due to them. My coaches, my mom, my dad, my girl, my little one, my family, my little brother. If I didn't have their support, if I didn't have, the whole team behind me every day, my team woke up this morning to give me a run because I wanted an extra sweat. I put in the group chat. I got 3, 4 guys trying to show up. Coach, what time? What time? Where are you going to be? I'll come run with you. And so I want to give this time to really give them all the credit in the world, and tell them how much I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. What going off of who you thanked? What does your parents think of you being a mixed martial artist?
Uh, they support me no matter what I do,
That's awesome.
and so they definitely love the fact that I'm a gym owner and that I'm coaching way more than when I fight. I know when I fight, it stresses them out, and it's scary, and it's obviously not what most people do for a profession, and no parent wants to see their kid in danger, and I respect that and love that, but they're there every fight. They are my biggest support. They love me. No matter what I need, they're there, so if I did this or if I flip burgers somewhere, they would be my biggest supporters.
What about your girl? What'd she think of it?
I mean, she fights too. So
Oh, she does.
yeah, so she's had one MMA fight and one kickboxing fight.
Okay, is she amateur or is she at the pro level?
Amateur, but she's 1-0 for both. So that's Melissa Santos. She had a big knockout for Combat Zone a couple months ago.
Okay, and how does it? Are you? So you're her coach?
Yeah.
So what goes through your head when she's in the cage?
I have to be the best coach I can be.
Yeah. So you don't get even more excited than when you go into the cage for her?
No, so like in a funny sense, John Howard has been my coach since I started, right? And so he's like a second father to me. He's been there my whole life. He's done a lot for me, and he's really taken care of me. And so when I first started coaching him, it was very emotional, and it was very hard. Like, this is like my dad, and I'm watching somebody like trying to hit and punch my father. Like, it was a lot. And so like it definitely helped to take a lot of the emotion out and be like, okay, like what we're doing is a job, and I just have to be the best I can be at it. And so in those moments, I truly do feel I rise, pretty well to the occasion, and I'm going to coach you at the highest level because I think emotion clouds judgment, and that's not, in those moments, it's the last thing I want. I want to be super clear. I want to just be coaching and making sure that we're getting through this the smartest way we can. We are technicians, we are surgeons, we're not here for a street fight.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to be tactical about that. Yeah, that's great. So Jake the Gorilla Pilla fights Combat FC 5 September 15th live on UFC Fight Pass. I think at 9 o'clock you go off. Is that right? 9 o'clock?
Yep.
And then I saw on your social media, if you're in the area, you're close by, I'm telling you, going to the Shriners Auditorium in Wilmington, Massachusetts is a great venue, easy to get in and out of. Joe Cav and Rick Caldwell put on a great fight. You can hit Jake up for tickets. I'll always support the fighters that are fighting on the card because they get a little cut of that ticket as well. So you're supporting them and all they do. If you want to train like the pros do, hit Jake up over at Gorilla Fitness as well. Jake, we'll actually be out in Vegas for Noche. Before all these fights were announced, we had gotten tickets for this. So I'm going to be probably at the Cosmopolitan watching your fights, watching a show. And I already told my girlfriend when you and John Piersma fight, I'm gonna if I scream, just be ready because we had Gilbert Burns. We were at Power Slap over the summer, and Gilbert Burns FaceTime her, and she was in a high-end restaurant, and she screamed the whole restaurant stop.
Jesus.
So I get a pass with her. So I'll definitely be watching, definitely be reaching out. But I truly appreciate your time on a Sunday. Massive fight weekend, and I'm definitely looking forward to watching you compete again. And then getting what I've heard so many positive things about you. I can't say how many people have said good things about you.
Thank you, man.
Yep, I appreciate time. Just sit tight, okay?
Cool. Appreciate being here, man. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely.